Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. It's good to see you. Recently we got back from an overseas trip to the Bali Life Foundation to check out the mission and have some relaxation and some family time. And I tell you what, it's a big job taking five kids
really
overseas, isn't it?
It
And
really
so
is.
this video is all about how did we thrive and survive during this and giving you 6 tips to help you with overseas travel.
Before we jump into our video today, I just want to remind you that at Gracefield Families, we empower you to live out your family values and kingdom purpose, steering clear of this world's distractions.
So to empower you, we actually have a 5-day family insight guide on our website, www.gracefieldfamilies.com, which is completely free. And it is a resource to help you understand your family better and give you purpose and goals for the future while resisting the busyness of our world.
Yeah, so head on over and we look forward to helping your family to thrive. Okay, so traveling with kids.
Oh,
Now,
what a job, hey?
it was huge. I guess the preface here is that this is some of our thoughts from when we traveled overseas, but you might be traveling around the nation or just for even a little trip interstate or within this state. So glean what you can from this, but these are some of the musings of our brain from what we experienced and discovered while we were away.
Hopefully they'll help you. And number one, right?
Number one.
Our first tip is preparation, preparation. One does not simply fly to another country with 5 children and survive without some form of preparation. Hey?
Yes. Takes quite a lot of preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the things we really took into consideration with preparation, firstly, is your kids' expectations, right? But I don't know about you. The first time I ever traveled overseas, I remember getting to Thailand with Nicole and just flipping out, having no idea what to do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, our kids are the same, right? They're used to Australia or wherever you live. They're used to the environment in which they're growing up in. And if they're not expecting to experience something different, they will flip out.
Yeah, it's really important to prepare your kids' expectation of what it's going to be like, to kind of tell them, it's going to be, the cars are going to be different, or the food's going to be different, or the people are going to speak differently, or whatever it is. Prepare them for the culture shock that they might have. Maybe don't use those words, but just prepare them for the change that they're going to experience. And also, we actually found to prepare our kids for each activity. When we're going to go to an activity, we had to prepare them. This is what it's going to kind of be like. This is what we expect of you. And prepare the kids in this is how we are going to thrive at this activity.
And we'll explain a little bit more in a bit, but you also need to prepare your own expectations as parents as to how your kids might feel going into a foreign situation. And so being prepared to spend heaps of time answering a bucket loads of questions and just acknowledging that this is something really new and potentially unnerving/exciting for your kids.
Yeah. I guess on a practical note, preparation. One thing that we found really helpful, I don't know if you are traveling overseas, but we actually, for the first time ever, got those hard cases, didn't we?
The ones that stand up and you can wheel
with
completely.
The 4 wheels on the bottom, you can wheel them. It was really easy because then the kids could wheel them through the airport themselves. But also, the ones that we have, they opened up into half, and so we had half for each kid. One kid, half, and it halved our amount of cases we needed. And it worked really well because that was their section and they put all their stuff in there.
Particularly with little kids, the less cases, the better. And having cases that like our 8 and 10-year-old could wheel around was absolutely priceless. The other thing that was absolutely priceless was a pram that could fit in the overhead compartment. We've got the, Mountain Buggy Nano. This is Nicole's area. I don't know why I'm talking about it. You can also get one called a yo-yo, which is pretty cool. I think it's because it goes up and then down. But those ones pack up small enough. They fit in oversized luggage, which means that you can have it all the way to the gate if you've got a little baby. What are you laughing at, my dad?
It's so bad.
There we go. Well, it's true, right? So prams.
That's really helpful.
The last thing we actually weren't super prepared for, and we did all right, but is the fact that you're eating out the whole time, depending on where you're going. We were eating out the whole time.
Yeah.
And we hadn't really factored in, probably dumb really, but that all of our kids were going to be eating a full meal. And so the cost of that really like blew us out of the water. We sort of did the costing on each kid costing half a meal. But you can't order half a meal, can you?
No, you can't really. You can order them to share, but even then they don't want the same thing or things like that.
And so we did do a few shares, but that was another one in preparation. I guess that's finance in general. Just make sure you're over there, you're going to have a good time, and you're not just stressing about money the whole time, because that's annoying and not relaxing at all.
Yeah, and another tip that actually really helped a lot was having some snacks brought from Australia or from, your city in there, so that when the kids are really hungry, or we are hungry, I get a little bit hangry sometimes, you can give them something you can give them something to eat quickly before you order the meal, and so that can kind of help tide them over. That was just a really practical, easy thing.
And that kind of leads into point 2, right?
Absolutely.
Systems. We're talking about systems, right? One of the things that absolutely saved our trip multiple times was a giant Ziploc bag per person, not just children. She gets hangry too.
So does he.
No, I don't. One per person that we were constantly filling up each and every day, and they just knew in their backpack or in our backpack, depending on the situation, they could jump in there, grab a bag with their name on it, and eat whatever there was. There's no need to ask. There was no need to, for us to be finding shops all the time and food all the time, but Ziploc bags, snack packs, absolutely saved our lives, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually found it really busy getting them ready, I guess, to go out. I mean, we have 5 children, so that's a lot of children to prepare to go out. And by the time you got this one ready, then, as you keep working down, the one that you've got ready first, they've moved on to doing something else when you're trying to get the rest. So we actually found a system of getting everything ready the night before really, really helped. The snacks, particularly we had a baby, so making sure that we had all of her nappies and everything we needed ready to go, so that we could just quickly get up and go in the morning. That really helped as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And just meant we were ready for every day.
Yeah.
Another thing that really helped was seating allocations on the plane. So think through that. Whatever your family looks like, make sure you think through it and you bug the airlines. They kept changing our flights and then they had us at one point spread out around the plane. We had our 4-year-old sitting by himself at one point. But make sure that's sorted, whatever your family is. We had parents in the middle and then kids towards the windows, which worked really well. But make sure you take that into consideration.
Yeah, another thing that really helped us as well is backpacks.
Yes.
And so we had pretty much the only toys that our kids took were in their own backpack, and they were responsible for that the whole way around. But we found they had backpacks and not those wheelie cases that people like to take through the airport.
Which we've done before.
We've done before, absolutely. But it's so much easier, because then they have 2 hands, you can hold a hand, you can do what you need to. And they're not trying to get them when you're getting onto a plane. There's a very limited space, and so you're trying to get all these kids through there, and everyone's looking at you because you've got 5 kids, and so they're all looking through as you're going through. So a backpack was so much easier. Just walk straight through to our seat, and away we went.
Absolutely. And then when we got there, we could repurpose the backpacks based on whatever activities we were doing on the day. And so that worked awesome. And again, it's important that our kids' hand luggage was only like food and toys. We weren't trying to cram packing stuff in there, were we?
No,
some spare clothes, which I'm glad we packed, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, the other thing I was just thinking that we forgot to talk about in the first point about being prepared is actually activity packs for the plane or for the travel if you're going in a car. Activity packs are actually really helpful because it gives them something to do. They don't actually need a lot.
Yeah, and involving them in planning that and putting that together really helps, because then they've got what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. So activity packs and a few toys in a bag.
Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right, point number 3.
Yeah.
This is heaps important, and one thing we underestimated, and that is lowering our expectations of what it means to go to Bali, right? Like, you speak to people without kids or whatever, and they go to Bali and they sit by a pool and they relax, or they travel and see things. They have the best time. They come back tanned, relaxed, and having had a good time. It wasn't quite like that for us, was it? Particularly not the first few days. We really, after 2 days, we're like, what are we doing? We were expecting this to be as if we didn't have kids. And we had to change our expectations on the spot.
Yeah.
And we had to pivot our mindsets and what we're trying to do. And then we started to have a good time after that. But make sure you go not at all expecting any of the worst or anything like that, but knowing that you're taking a bunch of kids with you that are going to ask heaps of questions, that are going to fall into holes because they're not looking where they're walking, that might run out in front of traffic because they don't quite get it. All those sorts of things. Lower your expectations. Doesn't mean you're not having a good time or you're expecting the worst. You're still expecting to have a good trip, but not how you see the travel brochure might be for your area.
Yeah, I guess the thing for us too, I mean, we were going into a humid culture as well, and so climate, sorry, but it was also, we kind of underestimated the impact of that, particularly on our kids. And so we very quickly realized the kids can't just keep going in this humid climate. And so we purposefully then, after a few days, we were like, we have to plan in rest days and some fun days. They can't just keep doing stuff all the time. And so, and like we got places with a pool. So just going in the pool was super fun for our kids. But we actually purposely then lowered our expectation of what we were actually going to be able to achieve on this trip and be able to just enjoy resting.
And after that,
with our kids.
we had an awesome time.
We had so much
it just
fun.
took that adjustment to happen.
Yeah.
And that leads on to point 4.
Yeah.
Positive attitude.
Yeah.
Go with a positive attitude all the time. And one of the things we find with our kids is if they're getting, like when you travel, one of the things that you tend to do is just chuck a phone or an iPad at them. But we find that our kids' attitudes decrease significantly, and research would show kids' attitudes decrease significantly with individualized gaming and watching and stuff. And so we'd say one of the ways of keeping a family attitude that's positive is to limit screen time and increase game time, talking time, reading together time, whatever, like you're there as a team, working as a team in that time.
Yeah, I was just thinking too, we sometimes going into a new culture or going on a holiday, kids are used to their routine. They're used to the comfortable, familiar. And when they're going into the unfamiliar, they can sometimes get a little bit anxious about that. And so us having a positive attitude for our kids and just being like, yeah, we're going to have a great day. This is what we're doing today. It's going to be great. We're going to do this, this, and this. If we're calm, we are then the calm anchor for our kids, aren't we? And we're the positive anchor for our kids.
And we were trying to have stressful conversations because it is stressful traveling overseas. We were trying to have them not with the kids in earshot. So, you know, talking about, how are we going to get to the port and how it is important for them to see that travel has complications and it's different and it's hard work. Yes, absolutely. But you don't want to put unnecessarily stress on them and you want to keep it a positive experience for them.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to point number 5, and it kind of leads on anyway, is to, with your positive attitude, to then celebrate the things that happen and celebrate the small things. We found even just, celebrating that our kids traveled to that particular spot really, really well, or their behavior was amazing at this particular spot. And we're so proud of them and enjoying that. Or, oh, look, we saw a rainbow today, or whatever it is. Celebrate the small things, which then helps you to just have a great time, doesn't it?
And part of being on holiday is celebrating life, right? Like we've worked hard for this, we've planned for this as a family, and we're here. Let's celebrate the fact that we've done that. What an achievement. How cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And moving on to the last point. Point number 6.
Probably the most important one.
I reckon it is. Yeah. And it is to have a team spirit. Here at Graceful Families, we're all about developing your family team. And if you haven't already, head on over to our website and find the free 5-day family insight guide, which will help you to start developing that culture of team in your family.
Absolutely.
But the biggest thing that helps with a holiday, whether it's overseas, wherever it is to have a team spirit.
Absolutely.
Work as a family. You're in it together. It's not you against the kids. It's not the kids against you. Everyone is valued. Everyone is important. We are a team.
And there's more times where you're carrying bags or you're like, we rocked up on an island, right? And the boat just rocks up on the sand. You walk on the beach with all your cases and everything. And that was one of the moments where we just saw our team spring into action. We're able to go, oh, can you kids go follow that? Can you do that? Grab that, rah, rah. And there's no like, oh, I don't want to. It's like, no, we've built this culture of a team. And so it was so important that we're getting to our hotel as a team. Hey.
Yeah, and so just every part of our trip, we prepared our kids in that we are Team Crocker, and you're going to do this, this, and this. You're going to do this, this, and this. We're in it together. We've got this, and we work through together. We wait for each other when you've got through a part of customs or whatever it is. We're in it together.
Yeah.
And that was our motto, really, wasn't it? The whole way as we went.
So there you go. There's 6 tips towards being a successful traveller, whether that be overseas or on a family holiday in your place of origin. But there's actually more than 6 in there, so I hope you enjoy all the extras. We really encourage you as families, plan holidays, get out there, enjoy, and
adventure together.
Adventure together. Our world is full of incredible places to go and see and to serve as well. So let us know in the comments or email us, what are your adventures? What are your favourite adventure spots? Do you have any other travel tips that will help us? Because we don't know everything. So
absolutely.
have a great week.
Yeah, good to see you. See you soon.
Bye.